All right, welcome back everyone to Switchback Racing League. We are back for Tier 1. This is the SBR Season 4 race, Round 9 of the championship at the Hungary for the Hungarian Grand Prix. So you join us with around 10 minutes remaining of the qualifying session here today in Hungary. And of course, we're here in Budapest for the Hungarian Grand Prix at the Hungarian circuit. One of my favorite circuits on the F1 calendar, guys. It is one of my all-time favorite F1 circuits and circuits around the world, actually. As we take around the 14 turns of the circuit length of 4.3 kilometers, that's 2.7 miles long. And there's also 2 DRS zones to help encourage overtaking for around here. The first DRS straight is going to be down the pit straight, down into the heavy braking zone at turn 1. But the great thing is, if you can't make an overtake into the first turn, there's always a second DRS zone right after that first turn, heading down to turn 2. So expect a lot of overtaking at those particular sections of the track. But the other parts, not many other places to make overtakes for around here. And that's the interesting thing about Hungary, though, is that there's not too many specified overtaking opportunities for around here, but somehow drivers find the courage to go side by side through some of these unique corners like turn 4 and even into the chicane at, I do believe it is turn 9, if I'm not mistaken. Turn 7, sorry, that's it. I get confused with the turns sometimes. But anyway, let's move into the racing here today at SBR. This is the Tier 1 race, and we're getting ready to start off qualifying and head into the Grand Prix itself. If you don't know who I am, well, I'm Formula Jonah, your commentator for today's race, and yeah, we'll be commentating on the action here today in SBR. We have a smaller grid than usual, but that is quite alright. We'll still have some action out on track, and we still have a lot of drivers looking to get a good result in today's upcoming Grand Prix, so expect a lot from the SBR race. But if you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe to see more SBR content, not just on Tier 1, but also Tier 2 and Tier 3 as well. All three racing is always absolutely phenomenal. And if you're enjoying the commentary so far, make sure to like this video as well. That would be much appreciated towards me and to all of SBR as well, if you guys would smash that like button. So thank you very much. Also, I would really encourage this if you guys could send in some comments on questions for the upcoming Grand Prix predictions. Maybe if you have any questions for me, if you have anything, just feel free to ask. I will try and answer those as best as possible. So, currently, we got Klein Bossi on P1 position, a 115.3 for the Alpine driver, and then we got the two AlphaTauris, as actually now, Leighton goes up into P1, as I was about to say the two AlphaTauris, the second, third, but now Leighton has got up into first position, so good enough lap time for first and 2/10 faster than the Alpine in second position. And currently, it's the two AlphaTauris and the two Alpines in the top 4. So maybe AlphaTauri and Alpine will be having a nice little battle for the race victory here today between all 4 of their cars there. So we'll see how that works out. We have a comment already coming in that says, doing great on comms, I think, as always. So thank you so much for the support. Really do appreciate that. That comment is from Dan, so thank you, Dan, so much for your comment. That means a lot. I will try my best to commentate on all the action here today. Ooh, we see Razorback now going fastest overall. As I interrupt what I was saying, I will get back to what I was saying in a bit. But yeah, Razorback fastest overall in the Mercedes. So Mercedes going up there is CPI Daniel. The two CPI cars actually going up into the top 3. So Daniel in P3 now with a 115.235. Very interesting to see that. Also, you may have noticed that my name is also on this this grid. There was a little mistake. I wasn't sure exactly if I was commentating or racing, and there was, like, I think a glitch or something like that, and so my car kind of got put into the game. So you'll see my car around. It's going to be ghosted, so apologies to all the drivers if it gets into the way. But yeah, I'm not racing. I am commentating today. I'm not racing. But anyway, Cam Dude in the Red Bull is currently 6th position. Let's see what he can do. He's on the medium compound tires. Now, if he starts on the mediums, that'll be really good. Ooh, as we see a McLaren off the track. That's Snell in the McLaren. What is going on with him? Let's see. That was at the exit of turn 5. So I got the feeling that maybe he spun on the exit of that curb, which is very, very difficult to get completely right for around here. So we'll see how that works out. But we're going to ride on board with a lap with ESW Jr. as he comes down to turn 1. Heavy braking zone. You want to get really close to that curb and then immediately shift up, as you don't want to get too much on the power, as you can spin off very easily. Into turn 2, get a little bit too much on the curb and you can spin off very easily. On the entrance and exit, you want to kind of weave the car back and forth. Don't go too wide. You can get your tires stuck in the curb and the outside and you can spin very easily. Turn 4, one of the most difficult sections of the track, as it's insanely fast. Uphill and then to a left. You're going to get a lot of understeer into turn 5 as you come down into turn 6. Brake a little bit after you see that curb, that sausage curb. Get right between the curb as you head into turn 8 and turn 9, mainly in 4th gear for these particular corners right here. And then you're going to come into a really fast set of corners, a left, then a right. If you go too wide though, and if you hit that curb on the left, like the Alpine did, you can spin off and kind of ruin your lap it away, but thankfully ESW was able to continue on. Into turn 12, a little bit of a heavy braking zone. The car nicely goes through there. That's looking really good for the Alpine driver. Round the final 2 corners, 2 hairpins actually, but they open up quite nicely so you can get a good exit out of both of them. So to the line we go for ESW, who's purple in the second sector. Let's see what he can do. It is a P5 for the Alpine driver, a 115.5, only 4/10 off of original pole position, and he puts it right behind his teammate Klein in that Alpine. So Alpine looking strong once again as they head into the final few moments of qualifying. Now, in the previous Hungarian Grand Prix, we've had lots of action, I think in real life and in the virtual world as well. I think I remember commentating, what was it, Tier 2, I do believe, SBR Tier 2 last season, in Season 3, and it was absolutely phenomenal racing. And I remember watching the Tier 1 race in Hungary last year, or last season, I guess, and it was one of the best races I've ever seen from Tier 1. It was absolutely phenomenal. I think pole position was really tight up at the top. I don't remember exactly what the pole position lap was off of the top of my head, but yeah, I do remember it was very close. So expect a good race here today in Tier 1. A lot of action coming your way. Even though it is a smaller grid, it still is going to throw us some great action out on track. But in terms of the real life Hungarian Grand Prix, there's been a lot of exciting moments going all the way back to the 90s, and particularly 1992. Nigel Mansell, the British driver, won his world championship with Williams at the Hungarian Grand Prix, so he did it here in the Hungaroring. Mansell would only take 1 championship in his F1 career, and that, of course, came here in Hungary. And then fast forward a few years later to 2003, where Alonso won his first F1 race with Renault, and this will actually start a lot of drivers winning their first race in Hungary. Actually, a lot of drivers on a list of the Formula One history books of the Hungarian Grand Prix have won their first Grand Prix here in Hungary. 3 years later, going straight to the topic, Jenson Button won his first race win, and I think that's where we got that famous quote of I can't remember who exactly said it, but yeah, they said. We thought he would never win a Grand Prix, but he's done it today. That was that quote. And he did it. Jenson Button did it. I think it was, he had a problem in qualifying. Started all the way back down in like P15 and then went up to first position with the Honda F1 team. This was way before his days with McLaren and Braun. This was back in 2006 before he moved to McLaren. Of course, Honda ended up becoming Braun after that. A whole amazing story. And then, of course, McLaren. Of course, he ended up his career with that. A few years later, Heikki Kovalainen won his first Grand Prix with McLaren. He won that race, and it ended up, I think, being his maybe only F1 victory. I think he won one other race. I think he won 2 F1 races in his career. Don't quote me on that. I think I was wrong. Also, Daniel Ricciardo won his first Grand Prix here, and he won it here in Hungary. Or no, he didn't win his first Grand Prix. He won his second Grand Prix win, I think. Okay, so he didn't win his first Grand Prix win, but he did win a win here. But another driver that won his first Grand Prix was the Alpine of Esteban Ocon recently in 2021. Oh, we see Klein off the track. Speaking of Alpine, one of them goes off the track. It looks like Kian has now gone on to provisional pole position, a 1:14.8. We're ending up on the final few seconds of the qualifying session here today in SBR. I know I sidetracked a bit with the history, but I wanted to talk about that since we are here in Hungary. Stretch Artiste as well went into second position, a 1:14.9. The drivers are already going up into the 1:14s. Snell to the line now goes into the 1:14s, a 1:14.998, and he's just 100ths of a second off of Stretch's lap. Now the second AlphaTauri of Leighton now goes up into second position. It's AlphaTauri 1-2 in qualifying so far. Can anyone else beat them on track? Cam is invalidated. Klein, I don't believe, is on a lap. CPI Daniel to the line, cannot improve on his position. Razorback is on a lap. Watch out for Razorback, who goes a little bit wide. That could have compromised his lap time. And I've got the feeling that that might be ending off qualifying here with Kian on pole and AlphaTauri 1-2 here in Hungary. Wouldn't that be absolutely phenomenal? Razorback is still on a lap, so keep an eye. Oh, it goes very wide, very wide. And I think that might have just concluded things. Yes, he's slowed down. That is it for qualifying. Kian on pole, followed by Leighton. The two AlphaTauris are P1 and 2 here in Hungary. Absolutely phenomenal, with Artiste in P3 for Aston Martin. Wow, what a qualifying session. 2/10 separating first and second position, and just a few 100ths of a second, 4 100ths of a second to be exact, just separating second and third position. Quite interesting there. And actually, Snell and Artiste were very, very close together on track. Oh, as there goes Klein now on provisional pole, and that is actually going to be pole position. I did not expect that from the Alpine. I thought he was on a cooldown lap, but he's absolutely obliterated the competition, and now Klein goes on to pole position here today in Hungary. Wow, what an unexpected event that has changed everything, with a 1:14.6, 2/10 faster than Kian's lap time. So while we were celebrating from the AlphaTauris getting first and second, the Alpine has now gone up into first place and dropped the two AlphaTauris to second and third. That is very surprising, and that means that Alpine are on pole, followed by the two AlphaTauris in second and third. What a qualifying session, and what a Grand Prix it's going to be. So it is Klein Buzzy on pole position for the Hungarian Grand Prix here today for Alpine. Klein on pole as we head into the Hungarian Grand Prix. Super excited to see if he'll lead into turn one, but of course he's got Kian right next to him on the grid. Let's see what he can do. Kian's teammate Leighton is in third position for AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri looking for a great result here in Hungary, and while they weren't able to get P1 and P2 in qualifying, they might be able to get a 1-2 in the upcoming Grand Prix, because of course qualifying just sets the grid, and of course you want to be qualifying up there, but of course if you're second and third on the grid, that's going to give you some, that's going to give you a lot of confidence heading into the Grand Prix, and I think those two AlphaTauris will definitely be going for a 1-2 in the race. Alrighty, so the formation lap is underway. And we are going to see these drivers go for it here today in Hungary. 35 laps await us for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And we are just going to get tires up on screen. And that's about it, actually. Also, Cameron has joined the session. Good to see Cameron in there. I'm excited to see what the Aston Martin driver can do because he is very quick. We know him from previous races here in Tier 1. He has been super consistent, and I think he could be going from 13th up into maybe a top 3 in today's race. So we'll see what he can do. But yeah, let's get into the racing here today. Let's start off by talking about the starting grid for the upcoming Hungarian Grand Prix. So, Klein Bossi in the Alpine takes P1 with a amazing lap, really. 2/10 faster than the second place driver. And that second place driver, Kian, will be starting in second place alongside him on the front row. So looking down the rest of the grid, we got Leighton in P3 for AlphaTauri. Artiste is P4 for Aston. Let's see what he can do on those soft compound tires. The second row looking really good. Snell was just a few, I think he was just 1/100th of a second off of Artiste's lap time. So very close to the Aston Martin. I think we could see Snell battling for a podium today. Razorback is P6 alongside the McLaren as we round off the top 6. CPI Daniel in the Williams starts P7 with ESW Jr. in the Alpine starting P8. Cam Dude on the medium compound tires with Marty in the Mercedes starting P10 also on the mediums. Rudy is on the hard compound tires in P11. Let's see what he can do in the Alfa Romeo car. He's going to try and go long, maybe go to a hard to soft strategy. We'll see what he can do. I'm not going to say my name because I'm not even in the race. And then Cameron is in P13 for Aston Martin. He'll be starting at the back of the grid, and that completes the grid for the 35 laps of the Hungarian Grand Prix. And why does it say I'm actually in the session? I don't know what that is all about. But anyway, we are getting the racing underway. We are just waiting for those 5 red lights to go out. Here we go. Where's a good camera angle? Let's find one. There we go. It's 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 lights ahead of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it's lights out, and away we go for racing here in Budapest. It's a great start for the front runners. Great start for Can, who's going to try and challenge Klein down to turn 1. We go. The AlphaTauri is going to try and send it. Here comes Artiste on the second AlphaTauri heading down to turn 1. I think there's some Alfa Romeo off the track. That's Rudy off the track in the Alfa Romeo. As we see Stretch trying to go around the outside of the AlphaTauri of Leighton. Here we go to turn 4. Ooh, a little bit of cut on the grass there, but it's all good. The AlphaTauri of Leighton will keep ahead for now. Meanwhile, up in the front, Kian right behind Klein in the Alpine. But it is Klein that leads us away. Kian P2 and Leighton P3. So the top 3 still leading us away in their respective positions. Rudy is down to P12. I think Cam also had a little bit of an issue as well. Cameron is up to P10. So that's good for him. He's going to move up into the top 10. As we also have Razorback. Oh, that's a car off. That is the Mercedes of Marty off the track. What happened to Marty? No win, it seems. Oh, that's not good for the Mercedes driver. As it looks like we have a nice move from Cameron in the Aston Martin. As he's battling away with ESW. And a little bit of contact there. As ESW is actually coming into the pit lane. I think he got damaged either from that contact or something else. As Klein will lead us away down to turn 1. The gap is really close. Can't get to try it. He's looking for it, but he didn't make the overtake. As ESW Jr. does retire from the Grand Prix. That is his race over before it even really got underway, which is a little unfortunate, but that is how it goes in racing sometimes. Snell in the McLaren did drop back to 6th position. He's lost the place to Razorback, who is making his way through the field quite nicely, actually. Razorback going for the top 5 in today's race. He's currently 5th as Artiste goes a little bit wide there. That could affect his line. Oh, Ken loses the car a little bit. We saw that on the edge of the screen. And he's going to drop a little bit behind Klein now as the Alpine will start to get away. And that's good for Klein, not good for Kian, who's struggling along on the exits of corners, it seems. And we know that Hungary can be quite difficult to get the traction or get the traction out of the corner and get the power down. So maybe Kian's struggling with downforce. Maybe he's running a lower downforce setting. You want to run really high downforce for around here. A lot of drivers usually go 11-11. Oh, that is Razorback off the track, and Snell. I think they made contact. That is the Mercedes and the McLaren spinning off there. Rudy is now retired for the session. Rudy out of the session. Already, the Alfa Romeo driver is out, and that is incredibly unfortunate for Rudy in today's race, and that looks to be a major... What happened there? What happened there? Let's find out. We're riding on board with Marty, and ooh, that's in the wall. I wonder if he, like, locked up and went straight into the wall? I'm not exactly sure, but that's a very hefty crash there, as we have Cameron and Daniel swapping positions. Cameron up to P5 now. Oh, as Artiste now got a 3-second time penalty. Not good for the second Aston Martin driver. And also good news for Aston Martin. They got both drivers in the top 5 now. So I really think that it is the battle between AlphaTauri and Aston Martin for the race victory. And look at this right now. The top 5 cars are... all teams that start with an A. That is very interesting. Alpine, AlphaTauri, and Aston Martin. That would be awesome if an Alfa Romeo car was also up there, and that would be a 4th team that starts with an A. Anyway, the 2 AlphaTauris still right behind Klein. Klein has dropped back a little bit to Kian, who's starting to catch up on the Alpine, maybe with DRS assisted. He's going to have DRS assisted, and now the Italian team must think, what do we do in this situation? You got 2 AlphaTauris right behind the race leader. Do they swap the drivers? Because it seems like Leighton's very quick as well. So do they swap the drivers or keep it as it is? I'm not exactly sure. I mean, Kian's doing a great job right now. So I don't know. I don't know what AlphaTauri is going to want to do. It's just a thought I had if AlphaTauri are planning something. Oh, Kian does get a 3-second time penalty for going too wide there, as it seems like understeer is proving to be quite difficult for Kian. And I really have now got a definite feeling that the AlphaTauri driver is running really low downforce setup, because he is struggling to get out of the corners, and he is also struggling with understeer into particular corners, and those are both signs of low downforce setups. So I'm assuming that the AlphaTauri driver is running a lower downforce setup. As you can see, he's kind of struggling to get it onto the corner, and he's really struggling with understeer, and you don't want to be doing that here. That's why I usually run 11-11 wings for this race, as only there's one DRS zone and or one main DRS zone of one straight, and that you can defend against. So that's really only where you need the lower downforce setup, but the overall Grand Prix, you want higher downforce. So Kian is flying quite a bit. He cannot make the move on Klein on lap 5. He's going to have a few more laps to do so, though. As, ooh, what's going on with the Red Bulls? My AI is, that's weird to say, but my AI is battling with Cam in that Red Bull. Cam on 4-lap-old medium compound tires. He's coming through the field. I think he had some sort of spin or something like that. I think, yeah, I think he's coming through the field now. He's 2.9 seconds off of Razorback. So, oh, gets a little bit too much on the power out of turn 2. Thankfully, he continues, though, so that's good. But up at the top, we still have a nice battle for first position. Wouldn't say it's a lot of overtakes at this stage. I think it's more just about the DRS train that we're seeing right now. And strategy is going to come into play in a bit, because we have to remember Cameron is on medium compound tires that are 4 laps old, and those soft runners are going to start degrading quite a bit. So this is good news for Cameron. He could be going from last to first in today's race, which would be quite interesting. And Kian is much closer this time around. I think he might get this one. He's going to use the DRS. This should be a pretty easy overtake for the AlphaTauri, and this is for the race lead. And Kian does get up into P1. Very interesting. Now the question is Klein going to try and fight him back into turn 2? It doesn't look like it, as we have Cameron and RT swapping positions. I wonder if that was team orders at Aston Martin, or that was an overtake by Cameron. Either way, Cameron is up into P4, and is going to be on the back of the 2 AlphaTauris and the Alpine sitting in second. Oh, that is Artiste out! That's a major crash, and he is out of the race, and that is a full course safety car that has been deployed out on track. Oh no. And it was going also well for Artiste as well. He was in a good position, looking for some good points, you know. He was, I think, in P5 at the time. That's unfortunate for the Aston Martin, really unfortunate, but that's how it goes sometimes in racing. We will continue on with the action here in SBR in a moment's time. I'm going to step out for a moment so I can get some water and all that sort of thing, and then we're going to come back with the action with my commentary when the safety car goes in and the racing resumes. Alrighty, I am back, and I'm ready to get the racing underway. I think the drivers are too, and we have the safety car most likely coming into the pits on this lap. So we will get the racing underway. Kian in the AlphaTauri leads us away as they pit onto the hard compound tires. So everyone has pit except my AI, Snell, and Marty. Okay, so forget my AI. It's basically just the McLaren and the Mercedes. So safety car in this lap. We will get the racing underway now, as it just depends on where Kian is going to go. I'm assuming he's going to go at the exit of turn 14, which is the final corner. We will find out in a moment's time. The great thing about Hungary is that the safety car comes in quite early into the pit lane, so you can kind of manage it really well. So, yeah, Kian becomes the de facto safety car, and he's going to lead us away as we get ready for the Hungarian Grand Prix. He's going to go wide, try and get the better exit out of turn 14, weaving the car back and forth, and now he goes. That's a very good start from Kian. Oh, very good start, actually, because Klein does make a little mistake. Cameron is now going to be riding the back of the Alpine, as they're on similar tire wear as well. So down the inside goes the Aston Martin. Around the outside actually goes the Aston Martin, as he's going to try and get it going, but the Alpine keeps ahead. Cameron's going to have to try and fight it back as number 45 Aston Martin car is going to try and go around the outside. It goes wide, though, and so Daniel might have the opportunity to try and make the move on Cameron, going for the switchback maneuver to try and get the better exit. No, he gets too much on the power, and now Leighton is going to be right in the back as well. This is going to be very interesting. And Cameron looking for the move on Klein there in the Alpine. Ooh, gets a little bit too much on the power there. A little bit, actually way too much on the power. But thankfully he didn't lose too much time to the Alpine, as he's going to be soon on the back of the Alpine driver in a few moments' time. Oh, that is Cam out of the race. Oh, no. Cam out of the race. Is that going to be a VSC or safety car? That is a VSC called out on track, and I'm hoping for no more safety cars. But that is Cam out of the race. I think he got too much on the power at the exit of the curb and spun off into the right there, which is a little unfortunate. But that means we only have 9 runners in the Grand Prix right now. And that is a VSC. Thankfully, no safety car, as they will quickly clear all the stuff out on track. Ooh, Snell coming into the pit lane. And does he have wing damage? Let's find out. We'll ride on board with the McLaren and see what his pit crew decide. It is going to be a no wing change. Oh, it is wing change. Okay. But it looks like there was like no wing there. That was really odd. Anyway, VSC should be ending in the next few seconds, as we will get no more VSC in a few moments' time. So we'll find out all that information in a moment. But yeah, very interesting. We will see what is going to happen at the end of this Grand Prix. A lot of stuff going on here and a lot of action coming our way. As VSC is now ended officially, Daniel's going to be right in the back of Cameron, coming down into turn 11. That's where Cam spun off into the wall. Thankfully, the drivers do not spin off at this particular stage in the race. And we also have Marty trying to make a move on my AI. And we'll see if he's going to be able to do that. He should. It's going to be pretty good. I think the AI level is like, I wouldn't say 50, 60, somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure, though. Because I remember hosting a session, and I think it was around there. But yeah, Marty should get past pretty easily. And thank goodness it's an AI, so the Mercedes will go around the outside, not really worry about really hitting the other driver, the Red Bull, because the AI can be kind of stupid sometimes. But anyway, moving on. We move on. Kian in the lead of the race. Klein in P2, Cameron P3. That is the top 3 of today's race. Leighton did get past Daniel, and I think Leighton will be trying to make that move on Cameron as soon as possible, because he is going to be on the medium compound tires, so they'll help him out quite a bit now, as we get a nice camera angle of a bird's eye view of the action out on track right now. We see the wonderful Hungary circuit. I definitely love this circuit. It is a unique F1 circuit. It is it's very deep in motorsport history as well in Formula One. It doesn't host too many other racing in other sports, if I'm not mistaken. To be honest, I actually want to do a YouTube video on that. I actually just did a full history video on the Australian Grand Prix. Definitely go check that out. It's on my channel. Yeah, I think it would be cool to do a Hungarian Grand Prix history video as well, because it is an absolutely amazing circuit. As Kian now sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. It is a... What was the fastest lap? Hold on. There we go, a 1:18.433, as it is insanely bright outside, so we can barely even see that, but just take my word for it, it is a 1:18.433. So What can we talk about? Well, I think we can talk about the crazy battle going on for second position right now because Cameron is going for the move on Klein now. He was looking for the move into turn 4, and that was absolutely phenomenal from Cameron. He had a lot of courage coming into turn 4, but he's going to have to stick behind for now and wait till that next DRS to try and make the overtake on the Alpine. But the thing is that, oh, hold on a second. Daniel off the track. And that is a spin for the Williams driver, and that is at the exit of turn 7, I want to say. So something really, really did happen to the Williams driver now. And he's got major front wing damage as well, which is a little unfortunate. He's going to have to come into the pit lane. That'll affect his race. Oh, and he's out of the race. Barely taps the wall there, and Daniel is out. He just had no space. Is that going to be a full course safety car or a VSC? I don't think it will be. Okay, so we'll continue on as we have now Cameron going for the move on the Alpine, and he does get ahead of Klein for now. Klein going for the switchback maneuver, though. Let's see if he can try and make that overtake into turn 2. And he cannot. Cameron has the DRS, and he stays ahead, but he goes wide, Klein tries to go to the inside, but Cameron still stays ahead. So very, very good move from Cameron. Now next up is P1, and that is Kian. So we'll see how this works out as Daniel has left the session. Unfortunately, he is out of the race. And we now have 8 runners in the Grand Prix now, which is a little unfortunate for the drivers that did retire from the Grand Prix, as only those 5 drivers will be a little frustrated, I guess, with what happened. So yeah, they'll come back stronger though at the next one. I'm sure they will. So moving on, 13 laps into this race. We still have a ways to go. Still some action to come. Cameron P2. Klein P3, that's kind of the battle we're looking at right now. Leighton has also joined the fight, and remember, Leighton is on the medium compound tires, so those tires are going to be good for a long while, but they are going to drop off at the end. So it's possible he might pit for the softs, I want to say. So we'll see how that works out. But anyway, Cameron set the fastest lap of the race at 118.329. That is the fastest lap. Now he steals that off of Kian's lap. So that's good for Cameron. He's going to start chasing after Kian, and he's going to continue to do so. So that's good for the Aston Martin drivers. We have Leighton on Klein side by side into turn 3. We go. Oh, they're side by side. They keep it going. The AlphaTauri's a little forced off the track there, but it's all good. And that is the Alpine that keeps ahead. Good defense there. And Klein keeps ahead into 3rd. Leighton only 4th now. So that is all okay, but yeah, this battle will continue for 3rd position. I think Cameron is starting to stretch his advantage off of Klein there. 1 second now, and Klein has lost the DRS to the Aston Martin, unless he's able to gain it in this particular section. Let's ride on board with the Alpine. Ooh, he goes wide. That could be a penalty. Thankfully, it's not, or maybe just a warning, as he has gained a little bit of time, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get that DRS off of Cameron, and that's not good because he got Leighton right behind in P4, and Leighton will be going for the overtake. Let's see. DRS enabled. He's going to get closer, but he's not going to make that overtake. But he might have the opportunity to do so into this particular corner. Gets a much better exit than Klein. Now he will have the opportunity to do that. He's got the DRS, he's closing, and he just doesn't have enough space. He doesn't have enough time to make that overtake. He's going to have to wait another lap to try and make that overtake for 3rd position and get both AlphaTauris in the top 3. Alrighty, well, I know we still have some viewers in the live chat right now, so if you guys do have any questions, please send those in. I'd really like something to talk about. You know, I think it would be great, as well as we have some action out on track. It would be cool to also talk about something else as well, if you guys have any questions about the racing. So definitely ask me some questions. We can talk about something. Yeah, so oh, we did have a comment that came in. Oh, it says, hey, well, hello there. Good to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. That's from AJLS. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. Really appreciate everyone that joins in the live stream. I am doing my best to entertain you guys throughout the action here today. We have 16 laps into this race, a few laps remaining. And we have the same question, another question from the same person coming in. It says, how are you? Oh, thank you so much for asking that. I'm doing great. I hope you're doing great as well. Yeah, it's in the morning here. I'm in the United States, so yeah, it's quite early in the morning, so just woke up around 4 hours ago or something like that. Yeah, I'm doing great so far on spring break, so I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to commentate on the action here today while I have the time off. Usually I'm quite busy in the mornings on Tuesdays, but I definitely have the time now, you know, to commentate on the action here today in SBR. So yeah, definitely having a great day. I hope you are having a great day as well. So what else can we talk about? Well, we can talk about the Australian Grand Prix that was last week. What did you guys all think about that? That was a great race, wasn't it? It was I would say it was a good race for the Australian Grand Prix. Leclerc won, of course, dominated that race, really. I was really surprised by Albon's strategy. That was pretty phenomenal from Williams, to be honest. I was expecting them to come in, and I was like, why are they staying out? There's no real reason for them to stay out. But I guess I didn't really see the bigger picture of it. So, yeah, congrats to Williams. They got a point there. So, yeah, quite interesting. We have another comment coming in saying, will be interesting to see the split strategy between the hard and the mediums as well. Yes, that is a very interesting topic that we must talk about. The difference between the hards and the mediums from around here is quite extreme because of the mediums. Oh, massive lockup from Klein there. That was huge. That might have just given him a flat spot on his tires. So that's not good for the Alpine driver. But yeah, tire strategy. Let's go back to that. Hards will definitely make it to the end of the Grand Prix. Mediums, however, it's going to be really difficult for drivers to make it to the end. But I'm sure they can do it. As here goes Leighton round the outside of Klein into turn one. We go. The Alpine's going to try and fight it back, and he will keep the position. And that's really good defense from Klein there. But here comes Leighton trying to go for the move to the inside line. And they made contact. It is Klein around. He saves the car, though, and is only a few seconds behind Leighton there. They do make contact, unfortunately, and I hope the both of them didn't get damaged. It doesn't look like it visually, but they may have gotten slight damage, which is a little unfortunate for them. Yeah, they will continue on, I'm sure, with the battle. But yeah, I want to talk about those mediums. Those mediums will probably make it to the end of the Grand Prix. I have made it from this stage on those percentage-wise medium compound tires, so I expect the mediums will last to the end of the Grand Prix, but it's going to be really difficult for drivers to do that. And I would recommend to medium compound runners, if they're going to stay on these medium compound tires, go and pin onto the softs. I would recommend that, because then you have a better chance of trying to overtake other drivers, and to be honest, it's more funner. It's more funner to pit onto the softs. I would rather pit onto the softs and start gaining time, you know, have that feeling of like, okay, I gotta gain a second, I gotta gain another 1/10 of a second. If I'm gonna be able to get the position on like the final lap of the race, I gotta make sure that I have like a perfect like calculation of what's gonna happen. So it's a lot of math, and it's really amazing. So I would recommend for medium compound runners to pit onto the softs and have that energy, to have that ability, and then have that I guess that I don't know, I don't even know how to explain that. But yeah, I think a lot of drivers will be interested in possibly going for that strategy. We don't really know. Snell's going to the end of the race. We know that for sure. He is on 8-lap-old medium compound tires. He probably wouldn't want to pit either, because he is a couple of seconds behind Marty. So he wants to make sure he gets up there and when everyone else starts getting into the zone where they start pitting. So we'll see how that works out. So we have around 16 laps remaining of the race. Still a long way to go in the Grand Prix. Kian still leading the race by 2.5 seconds to Cameron in the Aston Martin in second position. Leighton P3, Klein P4, Razorback P5, Marty P6, Snell P7. Those are the drivers on the grid. Yeah, they'll be giving us some action here today. So yeah. And let's talk about that calendar. Let's talk about that calendar for a moment, because we still have a lot of stuff to talk about in the calendar for SBR. So of course we're here in Hungary. Last time out we were in Belgium, but I don't believe there was a stream for that due to low numbers. Not exactly sure, but next time out we'll be heading to Britain, to Silverstone, which of course is always exciting. I love the British Grand Prix. It is awesome to watch on the TV. You know, I love the British Grand Prix. I think a lot of drivers will too. I think a lot of the majority of the league is from the UK, so I'm sure that they would be enjoying their home Grand Prix in Britain. So we'll see how they enjoyed that. Yeah, but definitely Britain's gonna be fun. Then Singapore. Oh, we're going all the way to the extreme from the Silverstone circuit, which is quite open, to the Singapore Grand Prix circuit, where it's very closed in terms of the walls, not a lot of space to maneuver around. And then we head to Mexico, which is gonna be awesome as well. You have the Hermanos Rodriguez circuit, absolutely phenomenal. Got the lawn straight, that's gonna be fun. Then we're heading to Australia. It's not the same circuit from the 2022 calendar, the normal 2022 calendar on the F1 grid, but it still is a phenomenal circuit, so definitely excited to be going there. And actually I missed a round. We're heading to also Jeddah, to Saudi Arabia. I'm excited for that. Oh, Kian gets a little bit too much on the power there as we're talking about the calendar. And then 3 rounds left, and 3 of the most exciting circuits on the calendar. USA, my home Grand Prix, Bahrain, and then Brazil. Of course, it's Brazil as the finale of the season. SBR has hosted a lot of Brazil finales. I think that's always been like that, which is great. Alrighty, so 21 laps we are on, 2.5 seconds, still separating Kian and Cameron. I think our closest battle might be between 4th and 5th position right now. Razorback on Klein in that Alpine. We'll see if that Mercedes will be able to make an overtake on the Alpine as soon as possible. And also, right now, there's not a stream for it, but we do have Tier 3 going on, and I have raced in that division quite a bit, actually, for the past 2 races, and I absolutely love racing in Tier 3. It is a phenomenal tier, and it's quite fun as well. I haven't been able to make it up on the podium. I've been getting some really bad luck, to be honest. Got a drive-through penalty for being in the green, which is quite the opposite of what it actually is, you know. Yeah, I've had some great battles with a lot of drivers in there. It is a lot of fun to race in Tier 3. So definitely, if you guys are interested in racing in SBR, definitely consider joining either Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1. Tier 2 races on Mondays. That tier is awesome as well. I used to commentate that one until I wasn't available on Mondays. Yeah, SBR, absolutely phenomenal tiers. 3 tiers of action. We have a smaller grid today, but that is okay. I think there's like some sort of holiday or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, purple sector for Cameron. He's flying out there. Those hards maybe starting to come into the percentage where there are like ultra soft tires. And he's going to go purple in the second sector, maybe setting the fastest lap as well. Marty, meanwhile, gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. As Cameron comes to the line, what's his lap going to be? It is only... Oh, I don't know what it was, but it's not fastest. So he only had a purple sector 2. And the gap has been reduced a little bit. I think maybe that's just because of Cameron's sector 2 time. It's now 2.3 seconds separating first and second position, as I think it will fluctuate every once in a while. Oh, and Razorback has left the session. And I don't know if that was internet issues or that was that was intentional. I don't know exactly. But that unfortunately ruins the battle for the battle for fourth. So that means we only have 6 runners in the Grand Prix now because my AI is in there and that's not really counted. And Razorback is unfortunately left the session as Kian has now set the fastest lap of the race. Okay, so wow. Good news for Kian. Oh, and he's rejoined. Okay, Razorback has rejoined. Good news. That's very good news. So we will get him back into the session. It seems like that was an internet issue or some sort of game crashing issue. Sometimes the game does it. I think that most of the glitches have been fixed, so it's good as well. It's not too bad. So that's good. Let's talk about more Formula 1, as this racing is Formula 1, of course, but let's talk about more real-life stuff as well. Next up is Imola. I think everyone will be excited for that one. It is always a phenomenal circuit to race at. The first sprint race of the season as well in F1. And Imola was recently confirmed to be extending their contract and their stay in Formula 1 till 2025, which is actually really big. So that's good for Imola. That means we're gonna have 2 more. We're gonna have 2 Italian Grand Prix continuing on, which is great. And I mean, 2 Italian Grand Prix, 3 United States Grand Prix. I'm excited for Las Vegas. We haven't talked a ton about that, as Cameron now sets the fastest lap of the race at 118.2. That's good for the Aston Martin driver. He's starting to gain a little bit of time on Kian. But yeah, the Las Vegas Grand Prix, I'm excited for that one, guys. I really am. I know a lot of people aren't too impressed with the circuit, but it's not really about the circuit itself. It's about the atmosphere, because it's Las Vegas. You know, it's in the night. It's on the Las Vegas Strip. And it's also, I know a lot of people aren't really happy with the Las Vegas Grand Prix, and I understand. I know it's 3 different races in the U.S., and I know a lot of different countries definitely deserve to have an F1 race. Like South Africa definitely needs to be going. F1 definitely needs to be going to Kailami. I think it would be also cool if they head to Argentina as well, if they brought China back on the calendar. But yeah, the thing is that the US is so big, and so like for me, I can never go to the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, because it's kind of like going from the UK to like Monaco. It's kind of like doing that, or actually it's even more. It's like going from the UK to like Italy, Napoli. It's quite a distance. It's a pretty big distance away from me. So Las Vegas is very close to me, actually. It's only 9 hours, and so it's not too bad. So for like West Coast people, you know, it's really good for all of us to go to a Grand Prix. So it's nice, I guess. I would like to see some other circuits on the calendars in other countries as well, like South Africa. I really want to see a race in South Africa at particularly Kailami. Really love that circuit. It's one of my favorite circuits in the world. I also would like to see a Turkish Grand Prix as well. Istanbul Park, another one of my favorite circuits in the world. F1 definitely needs to go back there to Turkey, as it is absolutely phenomenal. Portugal is another place, and I think everyone wants to see a race also in Germany as well, either at Hockenheim or at the Nürburgring. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of circuits that should be on the F1 calendar. I actually did a dream calendar on my YouTube channel, so if anyone wants to check that out, if you're interested and maybe sharing your opinion on it too, definitely send in or just go take a look. So Cameron, purple in the second sector. Let's get back to the action. 26 laps into this race, and Cameron starting to gain a little bit of time on Kian. I think 1.8 seconds separating first and second position here. So this is good. This is good. I think Cameron's going to start gaining a little bit more time, and those hards are going to start getting into the area where they're going to start to struggle quite a bit, I think in the next 10 laps or so. But thank goodness there's only around 8 laps remaining in the race, so they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And the medium compound runners, they can definitely go to the end. They can definitely go another 8 laps till the end of the race. So that'll be good for them. They will be getting into puncture territory, probably around 24, 25 laps on those tires. But it'll be okay. It'll be okay. A driver I'm a little worried about of getting a puncture is Marty in the Mercedes. Now, Marty is on 24-lap-old hard compound tires. And the thing for him is that those tires, 8 laps remaining. I mean, let's see here. So that's 32 laps in the hard compound tires. Is that possible? The hard tires usually last around 25, 27 laps for around here. 32 laps on the hards? Ooh, it's going to be close, but I think he can do it. If he conserves those tires, lifts and coasts maybe, doesn't brake as hard into certain corners, then he might be okay. And I think he's starting to do that. You can kind of tell. As Cameron now sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He is still flying out there, and he's got the gap down to 1.6 seconds. Remember, Kian does have that penalty, so this will help out Cameron to win the Grand Prix. But what Kian needs to do is make sure that he gets above 3 seconds, which I don't think is going to happen. He's got to gain another 1.43 tenths of a second there. So this is going to be really interesting. As Razorback comes into the pit lane for a set of soft compound tires. He's going for the softs now. And he's going to try that strategy that I thought of there. I didn't think of it, but I just thought about it. I didn't actually invent the strategy, but in case you're wondering. But yeah, Razorback going for the softs. 39 seconds to the race leader. Actually, we want to get interval on. Where is that? That is here. There we go. 15 seconds is the gap. Now, can Razorback gain time on his teammate by around, I'd say, 2 to 3 seconds per lap? Probably not, but I don't know. Maybe it might be possible. Look at the time he's already gaining, and remember, Marty is on 25 lap old hards. And also another thing is he's on he's got a 3 second. So I think Razorback might be able to grab 5th position in this race, and maybe even 4th, to be honest. If he's able to gain, like, I'd say 2 seconds per lap on the car ahead, he might be able to grab 4th, as he's purple in the 2nd sector, as to be expected. He is on the soft compound tire, so this will be good for Razorback. So let's see. He's 13.8 seconds. So he's gained, I'd say, around 1.5 seconds that lap on Marty. A little bit over, actually. So if Razorback can gain around that, maybe even more, then he's definitely going to get past Marty and could be in contention for 4th position in today's race. But that's a big ask. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. He's got 6 laps remaining. Ooh, I don't know. I don't think he can do it. And I think he can definitely get 5th in today's race. But 4th, that's a big ask. But if Klein makes a mistake somewhere, then that might work out. Who knows? So 5 or so laps remaining of the race. The gap now between 5th and 6th is 10.2 seconds. Razorback is gaining time on Marty. So this is good news. Good news for the Mercedes driver. well, good news for Razorback. I actually just realized Marty's also a Mercedes driver. Yeah, but good news for Razorback. Not so great news for Marty. So Razorback needs to gain around 6 seconds by the end of the race. And so he can do that. He can definitely do that. Let's check up on Klein as well. Klein gaining time on Leighton, I think. And Leighton's tires are going to be really dropping off now. I think Klein will be faster. But he's got that penalty as well, which is going to affect his race. So the battle for third is getting a little intense here. This will be good. The battle for first, right now, Kian's got to gain a second. He's got to gain around 1.1 seconds if he's going to be able to win this Grand Prix. I mean, he's doing a really good job, actually. He has gained a lot of time on Cameron, so Cameron was pushing. I think maybe those tires started to drop back a little bit, and now Kian's got to hope that those tires are dropping back, and Cameron gets a penalty. So, I don't know. We'll see. He's got the gap to 2 seconds now, 2.1 seconds briefly. So, Kian might be going for, he might be able to do this. Let's find out. .5 seconds, the gap now. He's got to gain 4 seconds now to his teammate. This is possible. This is possible. Okay, so Razorback is now 6.8 seconds behind. He is gaining time. 6.6 seconds now. 6.5, 6.4. It's coming, it's coming. So remember, Marty's got a 3-second time penalty. So if Razorback gains around 3 seconds, then he's got it. I think he's got it. He needs to gain 3.3 seconds if he's going to be able to do that. But I don't know. Can he do it? Can he do it within the time? He's got around 2.5 laps to go. He's got it to 6.1 seconds, 6.0 seconds, and ooh, is it 5? Is it 5? Not yet, not yet. Marty's keeping up. 5.9. There we go. It is 5.9 now. So let's see. Oh, and Razorback's gonna get DRS off of the AI car ahead, so this will be good for Razorback here. I think he'll have DRS. Yeah, he will. He'll have DRS. That's good news for Razorback. And here goes the Mercedes down into turn 1. 5.3 seconds now is the gap. He's got 2 laps to go. This is getting a little tight. As also, look at this. Cameron and Kian are possibly going side by side. If Cameron keeps up this performance, then he's going to win the Grand Prix either way. If he overtakes Kian, he's going to win the Grand Prix. If he doesn't overtake Kian, he's going to win the Grand Prix. So, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. We're entering the final lap of the race. Is anything going to happen here? We don't know. Razorback has got the gap down to 4.8 seconds. He's got to gain a second and a half if he's going to be able to get 5th position. this is coming down to the final lap of the race. Cameron's got DRS. Is he going to try and make a move on Kian? No, he's not. Into this turn. He's going to try it. He may want to finish on track. Let's see. He's going to use the DRS. And he's not going to go for it. He's too far behind. Meanwhile, gap still is 4.8 seconds. Oh my goodness. This is coming down to the wire. Razorback has got to gain 1.5 seconds off of Marty on one lap. Is it possible? I don't know. I don't think so. But up on the front, it is Cameron. He has done absolutely everything he can today. And he showed off some incredible pace. He didn't actually qualify. He started at the back of the grid. And he has done an absolutely amazing job. We said at the start that Cameron is an amazing driver. Kian tried everything, but that penalty at the end really did hurt his race. And that's going to affect his Grand Prix as well. So this is going to be Kian finishing second. But it is going to be Cameron, who started 13th on the grid. Comes around the final corner now for Aston Martin. And it is Cameron that wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Cameron is the winner, Kian is in P2, and it is Leighton P3, and just behind is Klein. He catched up, but with that penalty, it is Leighton that will finish ahead on those 27 lap-old medium compound tires. Third place goes to the AlphaTauri, and it is an AlphaTauri 2-3 at the line. Razorback, unable to do it. He was only able to gain 0.5 of a second, so he'll stay P6. He tried everything he can, and that was a really good performance from the Mercedes driver. But wow, Cameron, the winner of the Grand Prix, 35 laps of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Cameron winner. It is Kian P2 and Leighton P3. That is the SBR race. Klein P4, Marty P5, Razorback P6, Snell P7, and my AI P8. I really hope I get a point for that. That would be awesome. But I don't think that's possible. So Cameron wins the race here in Hungary and in Budapest. Great job by him. 13th to first. Absolutely phenomenal. That was a very good drive from the Aston Martin. Driver of the day, of course. He has to get it. I mean, he went from the back to first. That's a pretty good achievement, I'd say. So that's the podium celebrations. That's the results for the Hungarian Grand Prix here in Switchback Racing League. That was round 9 of the championship here in Tier 1. Aston Martin take the race win here today. It is AlphaTauri. Both cars on the podium, so they'll be happy with that, I bet. Kian and Leighton both on the podium for the team, so I'm sure AlphaTauri will be very happy with their performance here today. So congrats to the top 3. Congrats to all the drivers who finished today's race. Great race from everyone here today in SBR. Yeah, we'll see what comes next, you know? So that is the results for the Grand Prix. I think this might conclude things. I'm unable to do interviews as I got to get somewhere, but that's the results. I'm going to end off the stream now, so I want to say thank you so much to everyone that joined the commentary session. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel to see more content on SBR. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content that I do. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and yeah, I guess that's it. We'll see you all for the next one in Britain, and I'm Formula Jonah, signing off from SBR today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.